Welcome to today's Wee Wham. Do you like cooking or baking? I know I do. It's good fun to make things and share them with others. But sometimes I have quite strange tastes when it comes to cooking and baking. The other day I had some leftover vegetables that were from a stir fry. I didn't want to waste them, so I made stir fried vegetable soup. It was lovely, but not everyone agreed. Anyway, I hope you do like cooking and baking as well. But I'm going to share a story with you about Gary, who also liked to cook and bake.
There was once a young man named Gary who dreamed of being a chef for a famous person one day. Gary was very good at cooking eggs, boiled eggs, scrambled eggs, poached eggs, and fried eggs. His dreams began one day when he made fried eggs on toast for his mum and dad. "Why, these are the best fried eggs on toast I have ever tasted," declared his dad. "Absolutely delicious," agreed his mum. And that was that. From that day on, whenever the family felt like eating fried eggs, it was Gary's job to prepare them. Gary grew up, and soon it was time for him to leave home and find himself a job. As luck would have it, a local owner of a famous hotel was looking for a chef for the hotel kitchen. Gary applied for the job. "Before I employ you," said the hotel owner, "you must prepare a meal for me. Nothing too fancy though, for I don't feel terribly well today." "Perhaps some fried eggs," suggested Gary. "An excellent idea," smiled the hotel owner, and nodded as Gary left to begin preparing the food. In a short while, Gary returned and placed the fried eggs before the hotel owner. "Good colour," said the hotel owner enthusiastically. He picked up his knife and fork and cut through the eggs. "Good texture," he went on. He cut a small piece, and as Gary nervously watched him, popped it into his mouth. He closed his eyes. He chewed. He smiled. "Mmm," he said. "Good taste too. Indeed, these are probably the best fried eggs on toast that I have ever tasted." "Thank you, sir," said Gary. "You can start work in my kitchen straight away," continued the famous hotel owner. "And every time I want fried eggs on toast, I want you to make them for me." "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir," said Gary as he left the room. And so Gary became a chef in the famous hotel, just as he dreamed of for so long. And each and every day, the hotel owner would ask for fried eggs on toast for his breakfast. And each and every day, Gary would make them for him. And so life went on for a time. Gary worked alongside all the other chefs who had their many duties to perform. Then came the day when it was announced that the hotel was to host a huge banquet for some very special people. The other chefs in the kitchen were very excited. "A banquet," declared one of them. "What an opportunity to show off our talents." And they began to talk about what they would make. "I will make a starter for the banquet. A mousse, I think, a seafood mousse," said one of the chefs. The other chefs gathered around as this starter was described. They agreed it would be a starter to remember. Now, as Gary stood there listening to the plans for the starter, he thought to himself, "Oh, perhaps I could make a starter too. A soup, perhaps. A soup made with fresh vegetables. Yes, that's it. Vegetables softened in butter, simmered in stock, and seasoned with herbs. That would do." But then Gary began to worry. "But what if I leave the vegetables in the butter for too long and they burn? Or the stock is made too strong? Or I put in too much spicy seasoning and it is ruined. Oh no, it is too risky. I don't think I will make soup at all. While Gary stood worrying, another chef began to imagine the marvellous main course that he would prepare. Chicken, I think, with garlic and lemon. Gary listened carefully to the description and thought to himself, oh, I could make a main course for the banquet. A fancy pizza, perhaps, with fresh tomatoes, local cheese and spices. But then he began to worry. What if I burn the pizza base? What if the cheese doesn't taste right? What if I put too much spice on? Oh no, there are too many things that could go wrong. It's too risky. I don't think I will make a main course for the banquet after all. Another chef then begins to imagine the marvellous dessert that he would prepare. A delicious lemon meringue pie with a crusty pastry and beautiful lemon centre and meringue topping. Gary listened carefully and then he thought to himself, I could make a dessert for the banquet. A wonderful cake with eggs, flour, milk and sugar to make the sponge, then topped with cream and berries. But then Gary began to worry. What if the cake doesn't rise? What if the cream gets overwhipped? What if I forget to put in the sugar or the eggs or the flour? Oh, I don't think I can take the risk. I don't think I will make a dessert for the banquet after all. And so the time for the great banquet came, and the chefs in the kitchen worked feverishly in preparation, boiling, beating, mixing, melting, stirring and seasoning, and the aromas filled the hotel. Up in his room, Gary could smell the delicious food too. He could see the guests arriving and heard the cheers and roars of approval as each magnificent course was served, the starter, the main course and the dessert. Ah yes, Gary said to himself, maybe those cheers could have been for me. But what if it had all gone wrong? That would have been a disaster. No, the risk was just too much. I will stick to what I know I can do. I will just make fried eggs. And that is exactly what he did. He made fried eggs day after day after day. And he never did become a very famous chef.
Gary didn't like to take risks. And sometimes taking risks isn't a good thing. You know, like crossing a road. We can't take risks when we do things like that. But there are other times when it's maybe good to take a risk. Maybe when you join a new club, or learn a new activity, or make a new friend. These can seem risky and we can be nervous about it, but the Bible tells us that God says God will always be with us and not to be afraid. So sometimes we just need to step out and try something new, so we don't end up like Gary and make fried eggs for the rest of our lives. Now let us end with our usual blessing. God bless me. God bless you. Amen.